welcome to H360 HealthTalk. We're here today with Heather Mullen, a recent graduate from Cornell University who will be traveling with a group of college-age students this summer on a 49-day, 4,000-plus mile run from San Francisco to Boston. They're going to be raising money and raising awareness for the Ulman Cancer Fund for young adults. Heather is here to tell us all about that, her passion for running, and what she's been up to. Heather, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, wow, 4,000 miles from San Francisco to Boston. Are you ready for this?
We'll find out soon, right?
So are you naturally a runner? I mean, is this running been a passion of yours?
Yes. So I absolutely love running, and I started with it when I graduated high school. I had always been a competitive gymnast, and then I was like, oh shoot, what do I do now? I kind of need to transition into something new. I was getting exhausted of gymnastics in terms of my body was ready to put it away, and so I kind of switched into running, and that was when I found out that I really loved it. And so it kind of just started as, oh, I'll go for a 3-mile run today, I'll go for a 3-mile run the next day. And then when I was 19, I ran my first half marathon, and that was kind of the gear that switched on that got me into long distance running.
Addictive, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, I'm a family of runners. My two sisters and my brothers are both high school state champions in track. So, yeah, and they would say it's just, you do it and, you just get addicted to running. And you can run anywhere. A good pair of running shoes, you throw them in your suitcase, you're ready to go. You can run anywhere.
Exactly. Unless it's upstate New York, though, because there it does get a little bit cold.
In the wintertime.
Oh, yes.
So, Heather, you grew up in New Jersey.
Correct.
Yep, and you decide to go to Cornell, right?
Indeed.
Great school in Ithaca, New York. So tell us a little about your college career. You just graduated, right? Mm-hmm. What did you study?
I studied hotel management, and so it's essentially just hospitality overall. So it's not restricted just to hotels. And I kind of started there because in high school I had been working at a local bakery that switched into a local hotel. And from there I was like, wow, this is something I'm really into. And so I applied to all hospitality schools, and Cornell was number one on my list. I actually didn't get in at first. I applied early decision, got deferred, and then ended up transferring after my freshman year. And so I spent a year at community college in New Jersey, and then in the fall of 2015, I transferred into Cornell.
Awesome. So running is not your only passion, right?
Correct.
I understand you spend your summers working at a kids camp for cancer children. Mm-hmm. So tell me about that.
Definitely. So I've been doing that for the past 5 years, and actually this is the first summer where I won't be able to do it because I'm spending the summer running across the country. But it's a pediatric oncology camp called Sister Pat's Kids Camp, and it's designed for kids who either have cancer or have a sibling with cancer, and then we've also been able to extend it to children with blood disorders, whether that is sickle cell, and then we recently were able to accept a couple of kids that are HIV or AIDS patients because of the fact that there was another camp designed for that, but with so much progression, there was no need for an entire summer camp, so we were able to absorb another camp and kind of expand our reach.
Now, where's the camp located?
It's in the Hudson Valley.
In the Hudson Valley.
And so it's a week long, and it's sleepaway from kids age 6 to about 14, I believe. And then we do a preschool day, too, to introduce them to the camp environment and hopefully get them coming for future years.
And who was Sister Pat?
Sister Pat was the founder of the camp, and so she had started and led such a legacy that it kind of continued on in her name. And to this day, it's now, I think we're in our 33rd year, I believe.
Wow.
So it's been going on for quite a bit.
That is really great. And so what can a child expect to do when they come to Sister Pat's camp for the first time? What activities, what do they do, what do they learn?
From the start, we normally get a little bit of homesickness, and
Right.
so there's a lot of tears to begin.
Right.
Sleepaway camp can be a little bit daunting, but by the end of the week, it typically tends to be that the kids are crying because they don't want to leave,
Yeah.
which is awesome and goes to show our impact. But on a daily basis, we typically do a program throughout the day. And so a typical day looks at about a 7:30 a.m. wake up. They go to breakfast. Then they'll have 3 periods, and that's everything from swimming to fishing and boating to outdoor activities, painting. We do a bunch of different things so that they're able to be engaged. And we also try to offer a lot of different options for kids who may be on active chemotherapy, or the sickle cell kids might not be able to swim in the morning because it's too cold. And so there's always a bunch going on. And then we have a recreation hour, and then we go to dinner. There's a nap period in the middle of that.
Well, that sounds
to hopefully,
good to me.
I know, right? Harder to get the kids to do it, though. And then after dinner, there's typically an evening activity, and that's been everything from having the local fire department get involved and throw on a fireworks show to going on a river cruise. So the kids love it, and it's a really awesome way for them to get out of the hospital. We actually have a full team of nurses and doctors up there, so we're able to administer even full-on chemotherapy up there, dependent upon the level. So it's really, really cool for these kids.
And what's the ratio of cancer patient to sibling or other relative?
I would say it's probably about a 50-50 ratio.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And what's even cooler is that we have about a 1-to-1 ratio of volunteer to camper. And so we're able to put in a lot of effort for these kids. And if a kid needs additional assistance and we need a golf cart driver for them because their legs might be weaker from whatever treatment they're going through, we're able to do that. And we never have a short, or not a shortness, but less counselors available to help out those kids.
Now, is the camp only during the summer months?
Yes, correct. It's actually only the first week of August, roughly, or last weekend of July into the first week of August.
And so you've been working there on your summer break for a number of years.
Yes.
As a volunteer?
Correct.
That's so great. What are some of the most memorable takeaways you have from the camp?
Let's see. I would say for me, that week of the summer is probably my favorite vacation of the year, which is kind of funny to say, but you learn so much from these kids who are going through so much, but you would have no idea from the outside of what they're going through just because they look so happy. They look perfectly normal, besides maybe not having hair or having a little bit more weakness when they're doing activities. Mm-hmm. But I think just seeing how happy those kids are when they're going through a really hard time in their lives, and let alone their entire family, the siblings, etc., is just such an impactful way to be able to help out a community.
Yeah. So, Heather, a lot of people get involved in things like this, especially people that I find that have the passion that you do. Is there some backstory here? How did you get involved? Did you have a relative or a sibling that went through cancer that kind of got you involved in this?
It started off as one of my older brothers had went to the camp, or not went to the camp, but volunteered for the camp. And he was like, you have to do this. I really enjoyed it. And I've always been really, really close with my family. So I checked it out, and I, of course, loved it as well. But in addition, my father is a survivor of malignant melanoma, and that was before I was even born. So I didn't even get to experience that side of cancer. Mm. But I have found that throughout my life, that web of people who have been connected to cancer in some way, whether it's a sibling or a parent or a friend, everyone has a connection. And I think for all of those reasons is what really caused me to get involved, because even being somewhat removed from the cancer community, I still have so many close connections, and there's so many people like me that have even more connections.
Yeah, it is, people say, well, who's your target when they come to HealthTalk? I mean, who doesn't know somebody, right?
Exactly.
And it's so nice that, when I was growing up, I remember that cancer was very taboo. You didn't talk about it. It wasn't discussed in the family unit. If there was a family gathering, the kids would be ushered outside, and the adults would huddle in the dining room, and they wouldn't even say the word cancer. They would say, "Oh, Uncle Bob has the C, he's got C. They wouldn't say cancer, and it was very taboo. And I think through, organizations like Sister Pat and things that you're doing, we've really taken the conversation from the back room to the front room. And we've learned how to talk about cancer, and we learned how to get people through the journey and express ourselves and talk to our friends about it. So it's really great to see that evolution.
And I think it's also so nice to see how people react and say, oh my goodness, my mother, or oh, my sister. And you kind of get this storytelling going on amongst people, even just when I talk about Sister Pat's Kids Camp or running across the country. And I think sharing those stories and reminding people that everyone kind of has these connections really creates a stronger community and helps those people that are going through the troubles of being a caregiver, maybe an active patient, but just making it known that anyone is there for you.
Yeah. Now, if we go online, where can we find the camp?
The camp, if you go to Sister Pat's Kids Camp and Google that, you'll be able to find it, and that'll have a link to the webpage.
And are people able to make a donation there?
They are indeed.
Good. So we want everybody to go, check it out, make a donation. Now, we're going to shift from camp to running 4,000 plus miles. I can't get over that. You're going to go from San Francisco to Boston. Are you going to fly some of the way, or is it really you're going to run?
So I am flying out to San Francisco.
Okay.
So I have bought a one-way ticket to get to the other side of the country, and my feet will essentially carry me home. However, it is run relay style, so I won't be doing the full 4,000 miles. We'll have 3 support vans, and I'll be with a team of 30 roughly, and we'll be doing it kind of in a leapfrog manner. So essentially, I'll get up to 8 to 16 miles per day, and from there, it'll be 2 miles at a time. So to kind of elaborate on the way it's done, I would be running 2 miles with a partner, then another pair of runners will run 2 miles, and we'll kind of leapfrog throughout the day.
Yep.
And then we stay at different host sites and have community dinners. We volunteer in hospitals on our days off. We award scholarships to young adults and give out some of our chemo care bags. So it'll be a jam-packed summer, but I'm so excited.
Yeah. Now, so what day does the run officially start?
June 17th is when we take off in San Francisco.
June 17th. And will we be able to follow you on social media along the way? Will you be tweeting as you're running? Or?
I intend to start a blog. I've had several requests from my family that they know what we're up to and that I'm still alive and on my feet.
So what's the route you're going to take? Are you taking the high route? Are you going to go through the center of the country? Do you know?
So we weave around a little bit, but the route essentially goes more northern. So we start in California, we make our way to Nevada, we go through South Dakota for a little bit, we'll run through Ohio, and eventually we'll make our way down to Boston.
So you'll run right through the heartland.
Yes, essentially.
Awesome. And the money that you're raising for the run, where does that go?
So that goes directly to the Ulman Cancer Fund. And as I mentioned previously, some of this money goes towards awarding scholarships to young adults who have been affected by cancer. And that can be anything from a parent who had cancer to the student themselves having cancer. And one of the really cool things that we get to do as runners is we go through these scholarship applications and get to hear these stories. And when I read them, it was just so incredible and added an additional connection to this run to really make it feel meaningful. And I think that it goes to show that we do have an impact, and hearing the stories of these people and how a college scholarship would help them and really contribute to their future goes to show that what we're doing really does have an impact.
Now, will the scholarship recipient be in the caravan with you as you're coming across the country, or will you
They will not be. We'll stop and award some of them if we're able to.
Nice.
So dependent upon if we're crossing paths with those people.
So, and where, if somebody wants to donate, is there a page, or are you fundraising under your own name? So do you have a page within a website that's specifically for you?
I do. So it's a page within the Ulman Fund's website. And so if you look up Team Boston 4K for Cancer and underneath it for Heather Mullen, then you can fundraise directly to me. However, there's also a lot of other ways you can fundraise, or you can contribute rather, and that is even in the form of donations of sunscreen, chapstick, simple things that we'll need throughout the trip that we can avoid buying. So everything can help, and even if it's simple donations, we're still able to make an impact with it.
So what have you been doing in terms of training? Have you been running every day, or are you?
It's been a fair bit of running, indeed.
Yeah.
I would say I've been running about 4 days on and then 3 days off. Mm-hmm. And so on my off days, sometimes it's a full-on recovery day. Obviously, I'm listening to my body a lot, trying to amp up for the summer. Other days, it'll be doing a circuit workout or something that I'm able to switch it up so that I'm really getting ready and prepared to be able to go across the country and run as much as we will be doing this summer.
So when is the anticipated crossing the finish line?
August 4th.
August 4th. And big celebration at the other end, right?
Definitely. We'll be
your family will
heading
be there,
into
your friends will be
Boston.
there.
My family will be there. I'm really, really excited.
And then after the race, what's next for Heather?
After the race, I'll be starting a career in food and beverage, so switching gears a little bit, but I have always kind of loved the restaurant scene, and so I've decided to transition into that, and I'll be working for a corporate restaurant group in management come September.
All right, so a nice little break, but not a lot of time off. You're going to be training, you're going to be running, you're going to be raising money and doing great things for children with cancer. Well, Heather, thanks for stopping in. I'm going to be, rooting for you. I'm going to be donating to you. So go get them.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.